How is fish made? How fish is made is the game that I'm drawing today. Welcome back to Dom in Dark Sea Green, where we are drawing new fan art every single day. Every single day for the whole year. We started on the first of the year and we will end on the last. Today is day 30 and we're drawing How Fish is Made. This game is made by the same people that made, what's that game called? Mouthwashing. And it's not nearly as good as mouthwashing. It's a lot grosser than mouthwashing. But it's still got a lot of charm. It's maybe even got more charm than mouthwashing does. If charm for you is like trypophobia and dancing parasites and stuff like that, and like being just like sick to your stomach half the time. Yeah, it's a weird game. I would recommend it if you like mouthwashing, or if you just want to watch something kind of gross. But other than that, I think this game's like a 6 out of 10. TBF. But it was a nice, simple drawing for me to make, and I knew that I wanted to draw how fish is made. So I just kind of looked it up and looked through the images, and I was like, oh yeah, there's that one part where he's like falling down the drain, the thing. So I'll just draw that. Had a lot of fun, messed around. I'm still getting used to multiply / add for shading and what's the word? Shading and highlights. So I got to mess around with that a little bit in this one. Pretty fun. So, okay, yeah, this is the second to last 15-minute long episode. After this, I'm going to be cutting it down to 5 minutes. I've decided that is going to be the only change that I make for this month. I'm going to try to change, I think I'm going to try to change like one thing every single month. Just to keep it interesting, and also to see if I can get some more eyes on it. And I think right now 15 minutes is too unapproachable for just like what this is. I was hoping that two things. I was hoping people would be more interested in like the podcasty type of style of this video series. And the other one is I was hoping I would have more interesting things to say, but it turns out 15 minutes every single day is kind of hard. At least the way I'm doing it right now, which is by myself. I felt like it was a pretty good flow when I had Leo here to help me out. But Leo's more skilled in talking. So for now, I think I'm just going to cut down the time. I'm messing around with the idea of doing reels instead, but I don't know. I might do reels like at the end of each month. I think I'm probably going to do that for this month. I need to decide how much editing or if I'm going to script it or what. But the end of the month is coming up. Like it's 2 days until the month ends. So I need to get going on this idea if I want to execute on it. Okay, so I'm drawing the eyebrows right now. This is like one of those classic things where I forget to finish the drawing. So I stop recording, I save the art, and then I go and look at the art. I do this every single time. I don't know why that like refreshes my brain to give like new perspective on these situations. But whenever I do that, it like actually helps so much. So I stopped recording, looked at it, and the drawing of like the inside of the eyebrow on the right side was not filled in. I'm not going to put it in. It's literally the exact same as the other eyebrow. I didn't end up like shading it or anything. So if you do want to see, for some reason, if you're like dying to see how it looks fully colored, everything's on my Instagram and on my Twitter. Yeah, so now that the series is kind of coming to a close, I'm trying to decide what I want to talk about in like the short. I think I want to talk about which ones were my favorite, what I learned, and and then I'll talk about like what's changing for the future ones, so that it makes people sort of feel like, oh, this is a ever expanding thing, I should check that out. It's hard to convert like short form content into like the longer form content, even if it is like 5 minutes versus like a TikTok, like, maximum like 1 minute or something like that. It's like I've gotten plenty of views on my other channel from shorts, and then also plenty of views on TikTok. But it just does not translate to conversions to longer form stuff. So I don't know. I like working on this project because I think that I can learn stuff about video uploads probably at a faster rate, considering just how much I upload. But considering how much I actually change things in the videos, I don't know. I don't know. All right, story time. So, my stepmom and my stepdad my dad and my stepmom live in Wyoming. I don't see them super often, but Wyoming is not like the most progressive place ever. They are both mildly conservative. I would say that in their town, they might even be considered liberal, but they still like celebrated when Trump won. And, they're very, how do you say, like traditional, I guess. To the point that like sometimes I feel uncomfortable allowing them into certain parts of my life, if that makes sense. Not to like a bad degree, I would say. It's fine, it's comfortable. And I don't think they want to be in knowing stuff about my life in that way. Like the more like queer stuff, I guess. So my partner's non-binary, Leo, who's been on the podcast, the show, I guess I'll just call it a show, before, fan favorite. They're non-binary. And I kind of just like didn't talk to them about it. But I post about Leo all the time. Their socials are out there. Everything is available. And my family, when my grandpa died, we all got together and we saw each other again. And my stepmom was like asking me about it. I'm going to be honest, very anxious to talk to her about it. But she was very, very nice. It did not come off at all like othering. It did not come off as what's the word? Like talking down at all. Did not come off any sort of way besides like very respectful. And I was very thankful for that. I ended up driving home with me. So this is in like Idaho. Because that's where my grandpa lived. But driving home, it was me, my brother, and then 2 of my cousins. And I was just talking to them about like, I don't know, how much I appreciated the respect that I was given. And, like I think it's weird towing the line between, because it is something where I'm like, yeah, I definitely expect you to respect me and my partner, by not respecting my partner, you're not respecting me. And I expect respect for both of us, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I am like thankful that they are respectful. You know what I mean? And I was just talking to them about that. And like that I was happy that she was sweet about it. She was just like, yeah, I don't really understand it. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, not everybody understands it. It's just more important to like, be nice or stuff like that. And then like she was like asking questions about it and how I felt about it and stuff. And I was just like honest and talking about like the first time I met a trans person and how I would react, which is just with understanding, even if I don't understand that, didn't understand that at first. My first concern is like, am I being respectful of this person? Am I, speaking about this person in the way that they would want me to? My friend in middle school, like my best friend in middle school was trans. And then later on in life, I realized I wasn't like super good about my friend being trans, not on purpose, but just of like, not understanding things and stuff like that. I don't know. That's all to say that my stepmom got into an argument while she was drunk at her friend's house about non-binary people, and then like called me up while she was completely drunk with her friend who was like transphobic / doesn't understand. And it was like the funniest fucking thing ever. I don't know. I felt like very uncomfortable about the whole thing. But then I just kind of realized that they were so drunk and like not completely making sense. And also if it was like, I think that that's a good time to talk to someone who might be a little bit more, not understanding, because they're going to be kind of fucking stupid. Like, it'll be so easy to just tell them, without like talk to them about things without them having their guard super up, if that makes sense. And even if they're, the person I was talking to did have her guard up, but anytime I let her speak, she kind of just like put herself into a corner and then was like, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. There was one time where she was like, it doesn't matter. Like, I will respect anybody. I will respect anybody. There's nobody I wouldn't respect. It doesn't matter if you're, she did like the whole conservative thing where it's like, it doesn't matter if you're a fucking toucan, a fucking, all this. Like, I'll respect it. And I was like, okay. And then my stepmom asked, like, okay, so if your kid brought home like their partner and their partner wanted to be they, them, what would you do? She's like, I'd fucking kick them out. I was like, okay, then you're not being respectful at all. I don't know. It was like a very weird, uncomfortable situation, but still comical. And despite what I just said, I think it did end on like a positive note of feeling like someone could at least understand, a narrative or like a position that they're not familiar with. People on the country don't really have to deal with too much of this stuff, because if you're like trans or gay, you'll just kill yourself, I guess. Or like, praise the Bible until it's gone or whatever. So I don't know. I feel slightly proud that I was able to just like talk about my partner and how sweet they are. And like, I don't know, everybody has like this stigma that like, oh, I'm going to mess up and then they're going to fucking crucify me. It's like, no, people are understanding. They just don't want to be disrespected. Like, if it feels obvious that you're like doing it on purpose, then yeah, that's disrespectful and rude. But if you can tell that you're trying, then people are very patient, But yeah, I don't know. It's weird to be like, talk to your transphobic people, especially if you're trans, because it's like, that could be really hard and not understanding. But, you know, it's sometimes good.